there's been stuff that we can cut into pieces. This lesson is stuff that we cannot. Even though y'all tell me that we can cut cars in half and all that happy stuff. We're not cutting any of this in half. Okay, so this is called method of sealed bids. So this is kind of like giving away furniture and that kind of stuff.
What do you bet?
And how we do this is auction style. Okay, so we've got 2 required conditions. 1, you have to have money in order to bid. You can't bid for something that you don't have money for. The second thing, you have to accept money in place of items. So you may not get what you want, but you'll get money to replace it. Okay. So first thing you've got to do is you've got to look at each item and you need to bid. Those will already be done for you. Okay. Then we need to give out the items. They're going to go to the highest bidder. Okay. After that is where it starts to get iffy. Okay. Our first settlement. Okay. First off, you need to calculate the player's fair dollar share. So what you do is you add all the players' bids together and divide by the total number of players. So total bids divided by the number of players. And that gives you your fair dollar share.
You heard me.
Okay. The player is owed money. They should get money if their fair dollar share is not enough. Okay. So, in other words, if you get an item that's worth 20, okay, but your fair dollar share is 40, you should get that difference. So you should get an extra $20 to replace that 20 you didn't get. Okay. In other turn, you may have to pay money. Let's say you get an item that's worth 200. Okay, but your fair dollar share was only 150. You're going to then have to pay that difference. Okay, so everybody should only get their fair dollar share.
This is getting a little.
Wait till we get to an example. It's not quite as bad as you think. Okay. Finally, the division of the surplus. What's left over? The money is divided equally among all of the players. And then you finally have a final settlement. So I know that looks like a lot, but step by step, let's look at it. Okay, so these 3 people are dividing up an estate. They're looking at a house, a farm, and a painting. Okay, so they've gone through and they've put their bids up. So Andre would bid $150,000 for the house, $430,000 for the farm, and $50,000 for the painting, so on and so forth. So the first thing we have to do is calculate their fair dollar share. How much money should they end up with at the end of this? So the way we do this, you need to get a total of all of Andre's items. How much is Andre willing to put out there to buy these items? 630,000. Okay. We divide that by your number of players. So we have 3 people. $210,000. So at the end of this, Andre should walk away with either items or cash that total out to be $210,000. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for each person. We need to do this for B and chat. So what was B's total? Same thing, which means her fair dollar share
It's the same.
Figure it out. is the same. What about Chad? 660,000
Can you divide?
divided by 3, which means his fair dollar share is 220,000. Your next step is to see what they're going to walk away with in items. So if you look at all of the bids for the house, who bid the highest?
Andre.
Chad. Chad's going to get the house.
Oh, I totally.
Okay. Take a look at all of your bids for the farm. Who gets the farm? Andre gets the farm. And who gets the painting?
Yeah.
All right. So where it says items allocated, that's where you're going to put that. So the farm, $430,000. Okay. We get the painting, and that's $59,000. And we get the house, and the house is worth $175,000. To do your get pay amount, okay, so to get this piece, I want you to take your fair dollar share and subtract off the money for your items.
The surplus?
No, for your get pay amount, I want you to subtract your fair dollar share and how much money they're getting in items. So do Andre's first. So $210,000 minus $430,000.
Negative 220,000.
Okay, negative 220. So this means that Andre needs to pay the difference because it came out to be negative. He should have only gotten an item worth $210,000. He got something worth way more. So he has to shell out the extra money to keep that farm. Okay? Do it for B. What do we get when we do it for B? 151, and it's a positive number. So that means she got a painting worth $59,000, but she should have gotten something worth $210,000. So on top of that painting, she's gonna get $151,000 in cash to replace what she needs. Okay?
Why? Did they give all of that money immediately and then they decided who got what? Like,
What do you mean?
well, because isn't bidding usually like on the spot? You know what I mean? You have to do on the spot.
Yeah.
So did all of them together put in? Why is there a fair dollar share? Is what I want to know. Like, and where is this money coming from that they're getting or paying?
Straight cash, what?
It's all coming from the amount of money that they've put up.
Straight cash. That's what they said. You gotta be selling dope.
Like, how did
What
they
even
do it?
is a fair dollar share though? I mean, I get how you get it. I just don't know what it really is. Like physically, other than
They said house
cash value. You know?
It's
In a real life situation, what would that even be?
No.
And why did you add up all of them together divided by 3 to get a fair dollar share? Like, is
because
that
a
how
fair
much money
dollar
they're
share
paying?
is everybody having the same amount equally. So if Andre puts up this total amount of money and he had to split it equally, each of them would walk away with $210,000.
Okay.
But remember, each one values things differently, which is why Chad's is different. Because he values things a little bit differently, so his fair dollar share is a little bit more than everybody else. Okay, so kind of going back to the whole, I like chocolate 3 times more than, I would pay more money for the chocolate than I would for anything else.
Yeah.
Does that kind of answer your question
Yeah. but
somewhat?
I still don't understand like why pay is like how you like the pay and get amount. I don't understand what does that mean? Like, the fair dollar share is how much money they're putting towards it, and then they get whatever they value most, and then they have to pay off extra money on top of the fair dollar share. Is that what you're saying?
So it would be like, so, okay, say we're doing a gift exchange, and everybody was told you should buy a $5 gift for everybody.
Okay.
But you bought a $20 gift
Right.
for your person. So technically, when,
So whoever got that gift would give me $15 then?
right, and to kind of replace what you,
I mean, not
the extra that
ethically,
you put
but
towards it.
in a situation like
Right.
this. Okay.
okay? Okay, so what about Chad? Is he gonna get or pay? He's gonna get. When you subtract these two, it comes out to be positive.
45,000.
So 45,000.
Who's that 45?
Okay.
Come on.
So with this, if you want to put, if you get negative, that means you pay. If you get positive, that means you get. Yes. That's homework from one day when you were absent and you decided not to pick it up.
I didn't know that was over
Where
there.
do you get the 3 from on your Bible? Is it a bunch of people?
Okay, so your surplus, we kind of take this get pay amount and put it into a savings account. Okay, so if I'm paying into my savings account, is that going in as a positive or a negative? Positive. If you're putting money, you're paying into the account, it's going in as a positive. Okay, so think about it this way. Pay equals positive. P matches with P. Okay, if you're giving money, you're dipping into the account and you're taking from it. So we subtract everything we're getting. If you're paying into the account, it's like you're depositing money in. If you're getting from the account, you're withdrawing, you're taking out. Okay. What does that equal? $24,000. So, what this is saying is, once everybody evens out and gets their fair dollar share, we've got $24,000 left over. Okay, so what do we do with that? Well, we're gonna split it and give $8,000 to each person. We're gonna divide by 3 because we've got 3 players, and we're gonna give $8,000 to each person. Okay, to get your final settlement, you want to use your get pay amount and add on your surplus. So, final settlement.
I'm confused.
What are you confused with? Because you're just sitting there and not asking questions. I can't help you if you sit there and stare at a screen. Okay, stop me and ask me a question. If not, I'm going to continue to teach.
Okay, why are they giving them more money? Like you said, the surplus equals 24,000, and they divided out by 3. Why are they giving them $8,000?
Yeah, I mean, they are paying money for this stuff, right?
Technically, yes. But then what do you do with the leftovers?
But is the money like the money going to like a partner of the company or something, right? Like
No.
Buying it from someone.
No, when we're finally said and done, each person's going to walk away with an item and cash.
Are they getting paid to buy something, or this is just their money that they have?
This is their money that they're shelling out.
Are they like splitting the pay for everything equally, and then just kind of like saying, you know, you want this more so you can have this? So that's kind of what it seems like. It seems like they're putting it all into, like, those 3 people are putting all their money into a pot for everything that they want to buy, and then kind of just giving each person one thing. Okay.
So, no, go ahead.
So Andre is the only one like receiving money,
Not
or is
all of
he
them.
paying?
Where do you see he's receiving money?
Because you put like,
Because if you're paying money, you're losing it.
yeah, okay.
He's down that amount of money,
All right.
okay?
I get that part.
Okay. So you're good up to here.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay, so to get your final settlement, to figure out what they get at the end, what they end up with. Okay, your final settlement, you take your get pay amount and you add on your surplus. So you're gonna take get pay
I'm in the box.
and you're gonna add your surplus.
You heard me.
Okay. Now, be cautious. The biggest thing is remembering whether they're paying or whether they're getting. Okay. If you are paying money to somebody, you are losing it. So it would go in as a negative. So to do your final settlement, because we're paying, your 220 go in as a negative. Okay, he's down $220,000. But he's gonna gain 8,000 of it back from the surplus. So technically he's only down $212,000. Your final settlement is telling you how much money you've earned or have lost. So at the end of it, yes, Andre walks away with a farm, but he's also down $212,000 because of that farm.
Ooh,
Because he won that farm, he is down a lot of money.
meth lab.
Okay. B is getting this amount. So when we're getting, she's receiving, which means it's a positive. Plus the $8,000 in the surplus. So for the final settlement, B's walking away with a painting and then $159,000 in cash.
Damn. No, she got that bread.
And then finally, Chad, he's getting, so 45,000 plus the 8,000 from the surplus. So he's getting $53,000 in cash on top of his house.
Dang, so we got a house and $52,000. Bro, yeah.
What type of paint is that?
All right.
That must be the Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa's worth more than that.
Way more. Than
It's
that.
like
That's a cheap painting.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's
Like
cheap.
if you want to talk like famous paintings, that is a cheap painting.
yeah.
Hey, that's still a lot of money, so I don't care. I'll
Okay.
take it and be glad with it.
My mom.
Let's try another one.
Girl, I It's really hot in here.
I can't do anything about that, sir. No,
You don't want to
because it blows papers everywhere. Okay, this time I've got 4 friends and they're moving away from an apartment. So they're trying to decide who takes what. Because when you move in together, y'all buy a microwave together and buy a fridge together and buy furniture together. And then you got to figure out who takes what. Okay, so that's what they're doing here. They're deciding who takes the furniture, who's taking the electronics, and who's taking the kitchen stuff. Okay, so we need to come up with everybody's fair dollar share first. So you need to get Zach's total. $5,400. What am I dividing by this time for a fair dollar share?
3, 4. No, 4.
4. Okay, we always divide by the amount of players. So what is Zach's fair dollar share?
$13.50.
I got 1,800. Oh, 4. Oh, 2.
I'm 4. We've got 4 players. Okay. What is Wendy's fair dollar share? 1,300 even. Her total came out to be 5,200.
Right.
Okay. Liam,
Don't be touching my girl. You gonna let him touch you like that?
stop.
His fair dollar share is 1230.
1230. And finally, Caroline's. $1,100. Okay. Now we need to decide who's taking what. Who bid high enough to take the furniture?
Wendy.
Wendy. Wendy gets the furniture. Who's taking the electronics? Caroline. And who's taking the kitchen? Zach. So Zach gets a kitchen worth $2,800. Wendy gets furniture worth $2,500. Uh-oh. What did Liam get?
Nothing.
He gets
burnt.
nothing.
He's burnt.
Milk.
Caroline gets electronics worth $520.
Oh yeah, we would
He's gonna pay. Okay, when you subtract these two, you get a negative. So that means he pays. How much does he pay?
Okay, so
It's gonna be
1450.
1,450.
Again, if it comes out to be negative, you have to pay the difference. If it comes out to be positive, you get the difference. So is Wendy going to pay or get? Pay, how much? 1,200.
Oh,
What about Liam?
yes.
He's gonna get all this money in cash because he got nothing in items. So he's gonna get
He's straight.
all of his money. What about Caroline? Is she gonna get or pay? Get. How much is she getting? 580. Okay. We need to figure out, once they've paid and taken what they need to equal out to that fair dollar share, how much is left over. Again, if you're paying money into an account, it's going into the account as a positive. So 1,450 plus 1,200 minus 1,230 minus 580. A good way to check yourself. If you get this confused and you can't figure out pay or get, what goes in positive, what goes in negative. If you plug this in and your surplus comes out to be negative, switch all your signs. Because you made a mistake. Your surplus should never, ever be negative. Okay. What do we get for a surplus? 840. And we're going to split that up and hand it out between 2 players or 4 players. So we're at $210. They're getting an extra $210.
1450.
So we're paying $1,450. So you're down $1,450. But you're getting 210 of it back. So technically you're only down $1,240. Okay. So Zach has gotten a kitchen and he's down $1,240. Okay. Wendy. She's paid, so she's lost, but she's gotten 210 of it back. So she's down $990. Liam's getting, so that means it's a positive going in, plus 210 So 1440. And finally, Caroline's getting 580 and the 210 on top of it. I am.
Wait.
Okay. So there's your final settlement. While Liam got nothing in items, I'd walk away with 1440 in cash.
Right.
Balling.
Where you get negative?
I'm good with that.
Huh?
Where you get negative 1200?
Not all of it.
Here,
Other one. Side.
this,
Yeah, that one.
because they had to pay the difference.
Oh, I just.
So when you put it in as a pay, it's a negative because you're losing money when you're paying. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we can do with this big old crazy map.
Oh, man. Man.
Not done.
You gotta pee. I guess we better hurry up.
I'll take the yacht and the beamer.
What's in my room?
If you read at the top, it says it's a painting. The Miro in the Clee is a painting.
They can have the house. I'll take it.
Okay, so for this one, because we're dealing with such big amount of money, I added an extra row in for a total. Okay, so when you add up each column, give me a total, then divide it by 5 and give me their fair dollar share. Okay, so take a minute or two and find out what their total is and their fair dollar share. If you think you're good, go ahead and rock this, and we'll just check it when we're done.
No. Brother, baby, go.
Well, it's hotter outside than it is in this room. It's hot outside? Yes.
Hey.
I got breakfast today.
Sucks to be outside.
So do we, but I'll be at registration instead.
Oh.
Guys, juniors, do not forget ACT boot camp is Saturday. If you go to ACT boot camp, they give you a free homework pass.
They give me an active pass, a homework pass.
They give you other incentives too, but there is homework passes, and I do accept them.
They gave me one for wings and things, boy.
That's what. That's no.
They gave me one.
Wings
Oh
and things?
my God. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I was like, what, man? Yeah.
That's what they had to say.
On day one, I was there. Got the card. What do you want to eat? I got this present coupon.
I swear y'all need signs. We'll work for food.
I will.
How do you get kids in your class to do things? You feed them.
That's so true.
Oh, it's hilarious because my husband asks me all the time
I
because
got
this chapter, every year this chapter, I make cookie cakes and we do the Pop-Tarts. Tomorrow we're doing Jolly Ranchers, and he goes, "Why do you feed your kids?" Better that way. We'll work for food. Feed.
Ms. Smith, can I ask you some questions about
No.
what we talked about Friday?
About this Friday?
Last
Oh.
day I missed.
Yeah,
I should read on the
we should have plenty of time.
No,
3 problems.
Oh,
said not today.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, it says it right here.
Yay. Don't worry.
That's not the homework I'm giving you. I've got a worksheet that's got 3 problems on it. I promise you they're not as big as this.
All right, run me.
Third block shut down on me when I was last time.
Run me one more time. I get those $8.
I feel like.
How many pieces? Oh, you want us to do it?
They
Thank you.
Welcome.
People must be paid.
Right, for real.
That sounds like good.
All
These
of
are
them.
those millionaires that, doesn't need another yacht.
All of them.
No, right.
Nobody say.
Listen, if you've got this kind of money to bid on a yacht, why don't you just buy your own?
Yeah, right.
You feel me?
I mean, judging how big that yacht we talking
Yeah, it's a boat.
Right. I don't care, just put me on the
Are
water.
they gonna get more than one?
Give me a slow down, good.
Have we gotten totals in fair dollar shares? What is Al's total? $679,000. God, I wish I had that kind of money.
Bro, that is half, that's more than half a million.
Which means his fair dollar share,
135,800.
135,800. While you guys are working, I need to readjust this again for the 13th time today.
Jesus.
Dude, I did this wrong.
Don't worry, Al walks away with a crap ton of items too.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
That's what I said, that's what I was like.
he should, I think, 3 total. So he's super rich and he gets everything,
I'm about to be his best friend.
right? Hey Al,
Oh, wait, never mind. I heard it right, bro.
what was Ben's grand total?
65650.
656,500. And when we split that fair dollar share, 300. Ben, where you hiding all this money? I just want.
I got a bed. I got a mattress full of money.
Cal should have a total of $573,000. And his fair dollar share is 114,600. Dawn put up $669,500. 133.
Wait, the bank don't even hold that much money, do it?
Oh, they do?
I'm talking about like for one person.
Yeah,
Oh,
they can put that much money in everybody's account. The problem is, if they were ever robbed, they can only guarantee you so much.
it's now.
So, and I don't know what it's up to. But once they get to a certain amount, they tell you open up another account. Because then if we were robbed or something happens, we can't guarantee that you're gonna get all your money back. What do I do for a living? Does it look like I'm a millionaire? If I was a millionaire, would I be here? If I was a millionaire, I'd be teaching in Hawaii.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk items. Who gets the house? Ben gets the house. Who gets the cottage?
Looks like Cal.
Cal. Who gets the BMW? Al gets the BMW. Who gets the Saab? Al again. Who gets the yacht?
Ed, I mean Ed,
Ed gets the yacht. Who gets the Miro?
Ben.
Ow.
Al gets the Miro. And who gets the cleat?
Don.
Yeah,
Don gets the cleat. Okay, so Al's getting 3 items. So to put in his items, you need to add up the total of his items. How much were all 3 of his items worth?
What's the salt?
Too damn much.
It was what?
Never heard of it.
I got 149.
Oh, okay.
I want 49.
So he got all 3 items that total out to be $149,000. Ben gets a house worth $215,000. Cal gets a cottage worth $62,500. Dawn gets a Clee worth $179,000.
That's crazy.
And Ed gets a yacht worth $132,500.
Bro, just go.
You know it's sad when the painting's worth more than the yacht.
Right.
I was going to cruise.
It says there's no limit, it's just.
Okay, so let's finish this off then. So is Al going to pay or get?
Hey.
He's gonna pay. How much does he pay?
About 14.
I need an accurate amount.
About $3.
13,200. Is Ben going to get or pay? He's also going to pay. How much? $83,700. Is Cal going to get or pay? He's gonna get.
Hey, Cal.
52,100, you said? Okay. What about Dawn?
Hey.
He's gonna pay. He's gonna pay 56,100. That's not right.
50.
That's 45,100.
Oh.
45,100.
That's been said.
I'm gonna say that was a little too much. And what about the last person? Are they gonna get or pay? They're gonna pay. How much?
1,800.
800. That's good. That means there's lots of money in the pot to split at the end.
Except for, what's his face?
Yeah, except for Cal, he's taking out some money. Okay, so we're paying into this pot. So 13,200 plus 83,700 minus, because Cal's gonna take what he needs to equal out, plus 45,100 plus 1,800. How much money's in the pot at the end?
I got 91,700.
You got 91,700. I agree. If I split that between 5 people,
18,300.
everyone's getting an extra $18,340. I'll take that just by itself. You don't have to add that.
Oh, my mama. Well, y'all, mama.
Okay, so for the final, watch what happens to Al. For the final, he pays out money, so he loses $13,200. But-
you still get like fun?
He's getting money back.
Alex straight.
Okay, he's getting $18,340 back, so he's actually making out in the end. He got 3 items that total out to be $149,000, and he's walking away with $5,140 in cash.
So that man got a mural. He got a mural, a BMW, and a saw. And $5,140.
He's obviously a car guy.
Isn't that what Ty drives?
What is
Who's top?
I drive a 370.
What's the stat?
Yeah, what's
Oh,
the
It's a car.
Oh,
It's got like the line with the crown is blue and red.
Ben! Ben's down $83,700, and he's at least going to gain some of it back. So at the end, Ben's going to get a house, but he's going to be down 65,360. Okay. Cal's the one one that's gonna win. Cal's my winner in this one, sorry. He gets a cottage. He's getting 52,100 plus an additional 18,340. So he's getting a cottage and he's walking away $70,440 in cash.
Let me get $10.
That would pay off my house. I'll take that.
Oh, yeah, you flexing.
Okay. Don is going to pay, so he's down 45,100 and he gets 18,340 of it back. So he's gonna get the cleat and he's gonna be down $26,760. And finally, Ed's getting a yacht. He's down $1,800, but he gains 18,340 of it back. So he's getting a yacht plus $16,540 in cash. He made out pretty well too.
Yeah.
I still want cows though. Okay. Questions?
Bro,
Is it better now?
Yeah.
You better now?
Al gonna have that paid off by next week.
By next week?
Not even, probably tomorrow.